This is a sword I bought with kind of low expectations, honestly. It does look really nice in pictures. It's one of those very fancy hilts, and I realize this isn't a matter of personal preference. Some people prefer more, well, less gaudy, gilded decorations, but it's really beautiful. However, I did not expect the amount of decoration on this blade to be there, and this sword is actually due for cleaning. So today we are going to do exactly that. This should be fairly easy. It's not heavily rusted. There is some active rust. We'll see it all in detail in just a moment. However, let's say the only concern on this blade for me is that the decorations are etched. So with etching, you always want to be a little bit careful with abrasion because the thickness of the etching is sometimes really microscopic. So by being a little too aggressive with abrasives, you can actually wipe your etchings off, which we obviously don't want to do. So we'll have to be a little bit careful, but luckily there's no hardcore pitting or like maybe just in one spot. Anyway, we'll check it out right now. So let's dive in. We'll start with a close-up look. So the hilt, of course, doesn't really need much work at all. It's actually in surprisingly good condition. It still has a lot of the gilding too. You'll see it especially down over here, where you can see how the sections that aren't like here, you see where the sections where the gilt is coming off are quite evident, but most of the hilt is still beautifully plated. The grip is fish skin. It's very well glued. It's not coming off or anything. There are a couple of points of abrasion where you see the wood underneath, but nothing too crazy. Slightly loose in the hilt, but again, nothing really to write home about, and something that can be expected, I guess, on an old sword. So moving to the blade, I mentioned it was in rather good condition, and I think you can see that. There's no deep pitting. There's a deep patination. It's dark, and there are some spots of active rust. So our goal here is not, here you see active rust. It's kind of, you have little splotches of it around, especially on this side. Here you can see it quite clearly. So our goal here is not to remove the dark patination and turn it into, let's say, a shiny blade, but the goal is to remove the rust, bring the decorations to light, and then whatever we can preserve in terms of the dark sheen, that's nice because it gives historicity. But yeah, we'll see. We have our priorities straight. So rust removal first, and exploration of the decorations. So for this one, we'll start with Autosol because I have the feeling that it's not as dirty as some other swords are. So I think let's put it in position. There we go. And well, we'll just start with a generous application of Autosol. For now, I'll leave the langet area. I'll let it be because I don't think I can really get under there with a sponge. So I think that's more of a toothbrush area. And here we reach the tip. So as I mentioned in many cleaning videos, your feel of the blade is really important when you're cleaning. You get an impression of how smooth it is or how like deep the pitting is by running your hand over it. With a sponge, of course, you don't want to get cut. And this blade is actually extremely smooth. Right from the get-go, there's very little resistance, very little friction. The sponge just slides almost effortlessly. So I think it's going to be a rather quick clean. You can see a lot of dirt coming off though, so that's a good sign. And I mentioned it in other videos, but it might not hurt to mention again. But the reason why I use a lot of Autosol is that I have the feeling that it helps reduce abrasion, ironically, in the sense that while it is a mild abrasive, it's not that it's exponential, so it's not like adding more of it will make it more abrasive, but adding more of it makes the sponge kind of run more smoothly. And I don't know if it's true, but this is just an impression I get. So I'd rather kind of slather it in Autosol and just let the sponge run rather than have to apply a lot of pressure. Especially, as I mentioned, on this blade where we have delicate etchings, which we really don't want to touch excessively. Moving to the spine. Don't forget the spine when you're cleaning your swords. It can happen. But normally you want to clean the whole thing in one go and not have to go back because you forgot one side of it. And okay. So I think we can clean it up, and because I want to go in slow degrees here and not work on it for like 20 minutes and then discover we removed all of the etchings. That would be tragic. Just a quick pass so that we can inspect and see what's going on, and if we might already be at a point of at an acceptable point. So let's check it out. In this light, it's kind of tough to... Okay, so the decorations have definitely come to light. There's, I can't really see them through the screen here, so forgive me, I'm kind of looking half through the screen and half with my real life eyes, but you can probably see them here. So we have flowers. There's an eagle here. I wonder if you can see it. Yeah, there it is. An eagle in a kind of unusual position. So this will have to... And a motto. Whereas on this side we have... Here we have the more traditional eagle instead. You have the eagle like... The other one is horizontally placed, like you see in some American blades actually. This one is the kind of vertically placed eagle, so parallel to the blade with the crown. So the typical German eagle. And decorations kind of move up to here. So halfway up the blade, I would say. And I hope you can see this lovely branch that's etched onto the spine. It's almost so shiny that you can't really see the details. I hope they show on camera. Anyway, I'll get back to you. I'll get to cleaning a little bit under the blankets with the toothbrush. I don't want to overstate the importance of this cleaning job and how important it is to take good care of swords, especially ones that are in bad conditions when you acquire them. But I kind of have the feeling that this was done in the nick of time, and I'll show you why. Well, you see that the etchings are preserved almost entirely. So you'll see, I hope you see them there. You see the eagle with a crown. You see some floral decorations, some trophies. It's also true that they're already very hard to decipher, especially in some points. So they're not as clear as they could be. And I'm afraid that in some points, any information they may have conveyed may have been lost. That's especially true for this eagle here. You see this eagle that's kind of horizontally sitting along the blade, and you can see that the pitting started, the deeper area of pitting is right over its wings, and the motto under here is hardly readable. So I think that says like mit Gott, possibly. I have to check what the typical German models of the time would be. But this, you know, if you let it go for a few more decades, this potentially might all disappear and be completely unreadable and unenjoyable, let's say, and not be able to communicate what it has to. So we'll oil it up for a final clean, and then, well, hopefully it looks as beautiful as it can. Let me get that back in focus. And here we go. Sometimes oil can actually increase the contrast, so that could be, I'm hoping that with a little bit of oil here we are able to see something a little bit better. So we'll take a quick look and then I'll have to dive into it on my own. No, I don't think under this light we can really see any increase in definition. But one thing I wanted to show you is the tip. So if you remember from the video where I tried to straighten it, this was the side where I applied pressure. And as you can see, there's really, let me get it in focus. But as you can see, now that we cleaned it, there's really no lasting damage. There's no like dents or anything that would make you think that a plier was used on it. So that's a good sign. I'm very happy with that. I hope you enjoyed it. Clean your swords. Be careful you don't rub the gilding side, the gilt side. That may remove some precious material. And yeah, take care of your swords, and I'll see you soon in another sword video. Bye.